Throughout the Pokemon series, there are plenty of antagonist characters that fans will choose as their personal favorite. Giovanni, Volo, Cyrus. You'll get different answers from different people, usually all for very different reasons. But if there's one that a large number of fans will consistently rank high on their list, it's N. Considered one of the most memorable characters in the franchise, N is a very big part of Generation 5's identity, and challenged the status quo of some of the core aspects of the series within the story. And like most of the high-end antagonists for the series, N is a strong trainer. Which begs the question, what is N's strongest possible team? You may be asking yourself, how exactly do you come up with the best team for N? Generally, I would have the rule that the trainer needs to own the Pokemon they use in any form of media they've appeared in. But the Pokemon N uses aren't typically owned by him, and are simply befriended by him and acting out of loyalty, being consistent with his philosophy. So we'll be a little lenient for this rule since N is unique in this regard, and just go with Pokemon that he clearly has some access to for use in battle. Let's see if N can make a single team that speaks even louder than his words. If you were to look at some of N's teams in the games out of curiosity, then you'll notice that his teams are usually pretty humble and not too over the top. He doesn't run around with 3 Dragonites or anything like that. Instead, in his final battle against you, he'll bust out a Vanillix. Actually, it's kinda weird that both he and Alder used this Pokemon in their final battles against you in the first Black and White games, now that I think about it. Still, even with this in mind, when coming up with what could be the strongest possible team for N, you'll see that you still get some really solid options to create a well-rounded, powerful team composition. Going right into this, let's just address the elephant in the room, Zekrom. This is our first pick for his team, and will take up the legendary slot from his 5th battle from Black and White. In pretty much any media Zekrom has appeared in, it's an absolute badass. There's nothing surprising going on here with its inclusion. For its build, we'll go with a Jolly Nature and an EV spread of 4 in HP, 252 attack, and 252 speed. This will maximize its strongest aspect, while also improving upon its base speed of 90 to keep it ahead of some of its threats. For a held item, we'll use Leftovers. Zekrom has a pretty good defensive stat split, and it's even better defensively type-wise if you want to look at this within the context of Generation 5, where fairy types didn't exist yet. That, combined with its decent enough bulk, it should be able to get a good use of Leftovers in most situations with Substitute. Though a Pokemon like Zekrom has plenty of options for held items if you want to go a different route. For moves, we've got Dragon Dance, the already mentioned Substitute, the signature Bolt Strike, and Outrage. I think these are a good balance of taking advantage of strong stab attacks, buffs, and defensive options. Next, we've got Swine. This is a Pokemon N has in his Black and White 2 team if you battle him during the winter season. While its typing combo isn't the best defensively, its bulk and thick fat ability make up for it enough to allow its other strengths to shine. For its EV spread, we'll be going along with 252 attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed. And we'll be going with Adamant Nature to go along with this. As a note for this Pokemon's speed, it's deceptively faster than you would think it is, having 80 base speed. That's only 10 less than what Zekrom has, so it can end up becoming faster than other Pokemon with high bulk regardless. Its 4 moves will be Icicle Crash, Earthquake, Ice Shard, and Knockoff. For the most part, I think this moveset is self-explanatory, even more than Zekrom's. 2 strong stab attacks, a high priority stab, and a utility attack that also offers some alright coverage. For a held item, we'll be using Life Orb. Overall, I'd be pretty scared if I had the wrong Pokemon out if N brought this version of Mamoswine out. And even if I had the right one out, it would still be troublesome. Taking up our 3rd slot is Ferrothorn. N never had a Ferrothorn, but he did use Pharaoh Seed in his 4th battle against the player in the first Black and White games. So similar to how Red had Porygon 2 and our best team for him, due to simply being able to evolve it, N has a Ferrothorn for ours, evolving from that Pharaoh Seed. As a Steel Grass type with high defensive stats, most Pokemon will have some trouble taking it down too quickly outside of fighting and fire types. For the EV spread, we'll go with 252 in HP, 252 in defense, and 4 in special defense, accompanied by the impish nature. And as I go through this moveset, you're going to see where we're going with this. Spikes, knockoff, leech seed, power whip. And the held item for this entry is once again, leftovers. N's Ferrothorn goal is to annoy you to death by whittling you away and acting like a tank. This is not an uncommon way to handle Ferrothorn, and it's easy to want to play battles out like this when it has that solid Iron Barbs ability. Up next, we've got our jolly natured Darmanitan. You may be thinking, oh, you're picking Darmanitan since N had a Darumaka in one of his teams. But N canonically had a Darmanitan at some point before Black and White 2. He simply released it between the two games. Like many of his other companions, that becomes catchable later on. The way we're handling this Pokemon for N will make it the most aggressive on this team. The moves it'll have are Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Rock Slide, and Earthquake. As you may predict, the held item being given is Choice Scarf. Darmanitan is a Pokemon that works best when being on all-out offense at all times. So items like Choice Scarf and Choice Band are common ways to optimize the beast, along with different powerful attack type options as you can see from our moveset. The EV spread here is 252 in attack, 4 in special defense, and 252 in speed. As you won't expect from a Choice Scarf or Band user, this is the most straightforward Pokemon on the team. In our 5th spot is Zoroark. I find it hard to imagine putting together this team without it playing a role. To go with its timid nature, it'll have the EV split of 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed. Its illusion ability may be seen as a little gimmicky, but it can be very effective and absolutely shouldn't be underestimated, especially since Zoroark's high attack stats can make its enemies faint before you even realized what just happened. For its moveset, we've got Dark Pulse, Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, and Nasty Plot. We're pretty much focusing on making sure it's an effective special attacker for maximum efficiency, which is why we're also making Life Orb the held item. Personally, I think Zoroark fits incredibly well on this N super team. Now for N's last Pokemon. Those that remember that N had a Timber in his second battle against a player in Black and White may have expected Kongelder to have a spot on this team. And well, those people are right. Kongelder and his insane attack power takes the final spot in this special N team. And by giving it the Flame Orb as its held item, its Guts ability will negate the attack power decay that Burn typically causes, and instead boosts it by 50% right off the bat. On top of this, N's opponents won't be able to give his Kongelder any status elements that overwrite Burn, so no getting put to sleep. To go with our choice of Adamant Nature, the EV split here will be 252 attack, 4 special defense, and 252 speed. My choice of a moveset here is partly utility based while still trying to take some advantage of stab power, with Drain Punch, Mach Punch, Knockoff, and Facade. Facade in particular is something that fans may overlook for a Flame Orb user due to being simply a normal type attack. But it's actually quite excellent due to the fact that having a constant state of being in burn status will always have its attack power set to 140. Even without stat bonus, it's really scary to get hit by any Pokemon with low physical defense, which describes quite a few psychic types. So now that we've established our team, how do you think fans would have felt if they ended up battling this version of N in-game? Would he have become infamous in a similar vein as Cynthia due to his team being so maxed out? For someone who didn't exactly catch his Pokemon, it would be very impressive from a story standpoint. And N is certainly passionate enough of his beliefs and has a strong enough connection to Pokemon as a whole to be able to wield such power if given the time and circumstances. I always find building these teams to be pretty interesting, to think about both from a mechanical and an in-universe point of view. But what do you think? Are there any small details you would adjust for my N strongest team? What other trainers do you have in mind for this series? Let me know your thoughts down below. Welcome back to the outro, folks, your favorite part of the video. Thank you for enjoying another Mystic Umbreon video. We made it through the end of the 8th generation, and now we begin the long trek into late 2022 where Pokemon Scarlet and Violet await us. It's a whole new world we'll live in, but we still gotta catch them all. However, there's still a ton of videos to do and experiences to have until then. If you're interested in more Mystic content, check out my TikTok and the Mystic Umbreon Shorts YouTube channel. If we get the 10k followers on TikTok, I'll be doing a viewer's choice video. If you like Genshin Impact, check out my Genshin channel Teibachinary. So if you all enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. See you next time.